Well, welcome back to the channel. It is already time once again for the June market update. That's right. My name is Todd Jewell and this is the Living in Knoxville channel. Let's get to it. Okay, to begin with, I want to talk about what goes into these numbers. The numbers that I'm going to use come directly from the MLS system. They were pulled this morning, which is July 1st, and they are only for Knox County. They are only for single-family residents. They don't include any land. That just skews the numbers. So we're only looking at Knox County single-family residents to keep this simple and consistent over time. I want to start with average days on market. I always say average is not the best indicator of anything because it is an average, but I still like to use it. It's a common number. You see it online, so it's worth us talking about. Average days on market simply means this. It's an average of how long does it take from the time a property is listed until it goes under contract. In June of 25, as of yesterday, that number here in Knox County was 41 days. How does that compare? In May, it was 34.4. So we see an increase of somewhere right around 5.5 days or so, whatever, on market. So we're seeing it increase. In April, we saw it at 42.3. So we saw a 42.3. We saw it drop in May to 34.4. It was a really busy May. And then we've seen it go back up to 41 days in June. See how these numbers are kind of all over? If you take just 1 month, one little picture, the numbers don't really mean anything. So we have to look at trends. So year over year trends are best. If we look at last June, that days on market was 31 days. So we've seen a 10-day increase. It was also a little bit less last May because it was 30, last June 31, this May 34, this June 41. Just simply means what we all know, that their homes are sitting a few days longer. Now, my favorite number as it relates to what's really going on in the market with days on market is median days on market. And what do I mean by that? It means 50% of the homes above this number sell in more than this day. It takes more than this day to get it under contract. 50% though are less than this day. That number in the month of June was 12 days here in Knox County. That's right. So that means that 50% of the homes that come on the market sell in less than 12 days and in 50% more. Very indicative of our market. It's very specific to location. If you haven't watched one of these videos before, stick around to the end. Most of the good information, the summary, pricing, all that's going to be at the end of this video after I give you a lot of this data. But what we see is we see a lot of homes here in the Knoxville area, Knox County, they're just overpriced. They're mispriced. That means they're not priced for condition or location. They price them like renovated, but they need renovated or updated. And we see that a lot. Those homes are sitting for much, much longer until they finally get the price down to where it matches the condition, location, etc. But if someone puts a home on the market right now that's in the right location, priced properly, it's going to sell pretty quickly, less than 2 weeks according to these numbers. And that's actually what we're seeing in the market. If we compare that to year over year, last June that number was 6. So we've seen it double since last June to this June, indicating what we know, that the market is slowly working itself from an extreme seller's market back toward a little bit more toward a more balanced market. It is still a seller's market. It's just not as extreme as it was a year ago. Now, let's look next at sold to original list price. What's that mean? It means whatever they listed the home for originally, what percent of that did it actually sell for? Well, that number is 97.1. So about 97% of the original list price on average is what the homes are selling for. I can tell you that's once again really specific to areas. You know, we see some areas have much more negotiating ability in them, and then we see some areas where there's very little negotiating power. So Knoxville is a very unique market because of the different neighborhoods that surround it. It really is like about 6 different markets within one. I'm going to do a mid-year update in a few days, and we'll let the numbers level out here. And then it's going to go into a lot of that type of stuff. So be looking for that. Probably come out in a couple weeks or better. But be looking for that because I'm going to dive deep into this market, what's going on in some of these specific areas and what's going on there. Let's go next into active listings. Active listings mean at the month of June, how many homes were listed on the market for sale? That's 1,683 homes. So 1,683 homes into June. At the end of May, we had 1,586. At the end of April, we had 1,492. So we're having a few more homes actively listed for sale at the end of each month all the way through June. That's a trend. We'll see if it continues. Now, how does that compare though to year over year, right? So if we look at last June, 1,158 1,652 homes. This June was 1,683. Pretty significant increase. What does that tell us? Once again, it's just one more indicator, one more checkbox that yes, we seem to be moving ourselves toward a more balanced market. Keep our fingers crossed. What about new listings? How many people actively listed their home newly, put it on the market in June? Well, that number was 845. It was 991 in May. So we see less homes on the market in June than we did in May. That's actually very normal. May is always a very busy month. A lot of people list their homes in May, April, May, and so that number is always there, and we normally see a drop in June. If we look at last year, it shows the same thing. We see 841 homes on the market in June, very similar to what we see this year, and we saw 908 at the end of May last year. So once again, it was higher in May than it was in June. Very normal. We're looking for things that are abnormal, or we're looking for trends. That falls in normal, and it continues along the trend that we're seeing. Sold listings. How many listings sold in June? Well, in June, we had 633 homes that sold. Compare that to May, we had 650 homes that sold. If we compare that to last year, it's actually less, believe it or not. We had 650 homes sold this June, 673 homes sold last June. Almost the same, because that number of sales will probably increase to about 650. The reason it's going to increase and change over the next 2 days is because today's just the first day of the month. I like to get these numbers out early, but there will be some people who have not input their closings yet that happened right at the end of the month, and there's always a lot of them, and that number will probably run up more around 650 or so. So about flat June to June last year to this year when the numbers equal out, I believe. We saw more homes sell last May than we did this May. 773 last May, only 650 this May. So May and June were about the same, kind of flat. A little bit unusual, but one more indicator that the market is moving in that direction. Now, I want to jump back to absorption rate. So absorption rate, first of all, is if we didn't have any more homes on the market starting today, nobody lists anything, about how long is it going to take month-wise, about how long is it going to take to sell out of everything? And that's making a lot of assumptions, but it's a number we use, and that number at the end of June was 2.77 months. If we look at May, it was 2.6. If we look at April, it was 2.43. We see a steady progression of growth in that increasing year over year. Does that also reflect the same thing? Is the pattern the same? The answer to that is going to be yes. Last June, it was 1.93. We were still in a significantly, almost extreme, but a heavy seller's market. It's better right now. Still a seller's market, but we've seen that increase from 1.93 to 2.77 absorption rate. What are we looking for? If you are a buyer, we would love to see it to be somewhere around 4. If we could get it to about 4, then hopefully instead of trying to find a home that will work or finding one home that fits the bill, you'll have 2, 3, 4 homes that you can choose from as to the one that you like the best, the ones willing to negotiate the most, so on and so forth. So hopefully we're going to continue that trend. I would love to see at least 3.5 sometime in the next 12 months to 4 and get this market back to what I consider to be more balanced and normal. Now, but what does that mean for a buyer? It means that now's a good time to buy. It also means that if you're not buying to fall, hopefully we're going to have a few more homes in inventory for you to choose from. If you're a 2026 buyer, hopefully that means we're going to have more homes for you to choose from. If you're a seller, what does that mean? It means now's the time to list. Less competition. That's exactly what it means. Every number that I have right here tells us that. We are still in a good market. I want to say this and be crystal clear to all buyers and sellers. Prices have not decreased in most parts of Knox County, and I do not see them decreasing in most parts of Knox County. We are not overbuilt. We don't have the inventory for it, and we have so much pent-up demand of people that are looking for homes. And if you're someone who's looking to sell, reach out to us. We know how to help you market the home. If you're looking to buy, it's never too early. Reach out to us. Let's start those conversations. Now, what about price? So the median sold price, 50% sold above, 50% sold below, $415,000 at the end of June. That was an increase of $15,000 over the previous 2 months. It was $399,950 in May, $399,900 in April, so basically the same, jumped to $415,000. Over the past year, if you go back and look at this number, it's run anywhere from about $392,000 to $95,000 up to about $405,000, but $415,000 is a significant jump. And so it's one more indicator pricing isn't going down, but it's also an indicator of this. It's an indicator of the sales mix. Where are we seeing sales happen here in Knox County? And it means that probably in June, when you pull the numbers, we'll talk about this in the year update, more homes were probably sold out west in Knoxville, where the average sales price is higher. So the sales price is going to be higher. So we got more of those out there, meaning that we pull that median up a little bit. And that's what we're seeing. And we're also seeing the areas that we're offering some of the more affordable homes, 2s and 3s. We're seeing some of those areas now moving from 2s into 3s, and some of those that were 3s up to mid 3s or 4s. So that number is working up in other areas, not just out west. So there's many reasons to buy now if you can. There's many reasons to sell now if you can. I also think, though, if you're someone who can't buy now, you're going to be fine. If you're someone who can't sell now, you're going to be next spring, you're probably going to be fine. Just like I said to start the year in January when I did what I said is going to happen this year, 2 to 5% appreciation rates this year. We're squarely in that, because if you take the 415 median price, you do that year over year, it was $399. That is a 4% year over year price increase from this June to last June. So just about exactly where we thought we would be. The only things that can mess that up, obviously, are things that go on in the world or huge reduction in mortgage rates. If we saw mortgage rates plunge, it could destroy these numbers. It would run pricing through the roof, and it would drive the absorption rate way back down because we won't have the homes. So hoping that doesn't happen, to be honest with you. And after 15 years of banking, before I started doing this, I don't see anything that ever says we're going to get anywhere near those low rates again. We probably will see the Fed cut rates a couple times later this year with some data that's been coming out. That's not a direct effect on mortgage rates, but it normally does have an effect on mortgage rates. So I do think we're going to see mortgage rates improve between now and year end, but nothing significant that's going to create a market that's unsustainable again like we saw 3 years ago. So I hope you find this helpful. If you haven't subscribed, please do so below. Give us a thumbs up. We like those questions or comments. Put those below. We love to answer those. Reach out to us if you haven't. You can give us a call. You can text us. You can email us, and go ahead and schedule that Zoom if you haven't as well. Never too early. We're glad to meet with you. Glad to help you through the thought process. Guys, I'm Todd Jewell, and until next time, I can't wait to see you around Knoxville soon.